That's you, Mathews.
Can he hear us?
I don't think Mathews can hear us.
I don't think he can hear us.
Can you hear us, Mathews?
no.
You're on.
Sorry.
You're live.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I didn't hear us. I was completely lost. Hello, everybody. It's in Providence, episode 6. I'm here. At least physically, I'm here. Welcome back, everybody. Appreciate you being patient with us today. I had a little bit of a late start, kind of a chaotic back end on us today, but we're here. Good to see everybody. Josh, good to have you back. Welcome back to the show.
Good to be back.
And welcome back, everybody else. We'll jump right on in here. Just before we do, we'll just get the usual stuff out of the way before we do. Thank you guys for showing up, first and foremost. You know, we're on episode 6. We're still very early in this game's lifetime here. It's crazy it's episode 6 already, but still, thank you guys for showing up. If you guys are new or kind of jumping in and wondering, hey, when did I miss the beginning of this? Head over to youtube.com/podbynight, where we're uploading every episode a few days afterward or a week afterward for free over there for everybody. We will not be missing any this time. We've taken precautions because Twitch is
I just hit the record button, Mathews.
Exactly. Yeah, Twitch is just a reminder for people who are maybe Twitch exclusive people. Twitch's memory, like the amount of VODs we're allowed to hold, is limited now. So instead of worrying about what gets purged and what doesn't, everything gets recorded and will be put up at Pod by Night for free for everybody. If you are a subscriber, though, that goes directly to supporting the cast here, the show here. It gives you access to the VODs immediately, but also you get access to a bunch of emotes and other cool stuff that Twitch gives you. If you want to go above and beyond, that's what Patreon's for. You can head over to patreon.com/podbynight, where you can kind of support all projects, the ones that we got going on. Well, obviously this show right here, but other things that we get coming down the pipeline as well. There was one more thing I wanted to mention the community, the Discord. Discord is totally free for you to jump into if you guys want a place to talk about the show, talk with other fans. We've got a ton of people in the Discord. Memes.
You opened up a brand new
is there a
Meme of Darkness channel that is for
that's why I said it specifically.
Only related to World of Darkness.
Jump on it. It's like I said, it's totally free. Everybody's there. And if you're like a Patreon subscriber or whatnot, there's a few private rooms for you as well, where you can kind of talk more directly to the cast and such. But yeah, I think that's it. I kind of want to jump in because we've just kind of had a late start. So if everybody's good, did I miss anything? Is there anything we need to announce that I completely forgot? All right, cool. Then without further ado, let's go ahead and set the scene, rein things in, and see what our group of kindred is up to. But before we do, rouse checks. Everybody rouse the check, please.
The rouse. Oh, and don't forget to do your start a session stuff, homies.
Oh yeah, everybody do your start a session recovery.
Well, not let me
ended
rouse.
Poorly for everybody, specifically Janet. Oh, damn it!
Yeah, everybody's having a bad time.
It's not letting me rouse. Giving me an error.
Yes, I saw that. Okay, well. This is because your Roll20 sheet and your demiplane sheet are named the exact same thing. Add a differentiator between them, and you'll be able to roll. I just figured this out before the show started. I had the same problem.
That makes sense. All right.
No, not a remorse test. No, I did one of those already.
Yeah.
Do it again. Not again.
Not again.
All stains removed, though. Yay. Needed that last time.
It's my first bout of hunger since session 1.
This is gonna.
Hey, not bad though. We've had good luck rolls this whole time.
Yeah.
Do we need Betty's?
I'll roll in a second. I'm
let's make sure I don't
double checking. I'm spelling something right because my brain. All right, now let's see if it works. It works, and I'm hungrier in real life and in my own life.
You can join Janet at 4 if you'd like.
Yeah, Janet's at 4.
I was there last session.
All right. With that said, then I know exactly how we're going to open up. Instead of our no easing in as usual. Instead, we are greeted with today's episode with the first words of Dolly Parton's 9 to 5. But when we hear 9 to 5, it's without the instrumental. It's more loud. It has a bit of an echo or a reverb to it. And we hear 9, we see a hard shot of Janet getting up. When we hear 2, it cuts again, and we see a hard, quick shot of Janet throwing on a plastic apron. and we hear 5, which kind of then trails off and lingers for a bit. We get this cold, static shot of what little food she has left in this situation. Basically, one.
Actually, I was
food,
thinking the same thing, Mathews. I think maybe she's running low, and the idea of opening the freezer and seeing less organs than she would be pleased to see makes this morning even that much more tense.
Yeah, and so you kind of have those like little like bassy like hits with each like 9, 2, 5. Then it just trails into silence where we just see Janet standing over what's left for food. No music. Again, kind of a very static shot where we're pulled quite a bit far back. And my question, I guess, to Janet is, a 4 hunger does leave you with risk of hunger frenzying. When you see blood, when you taste blood, 4 is the limit. Is there precautions Janet has in place or ready on the off chance that a hunger frenzy does occur?
Well, so here's the problem. Obviously. You can't, yes, the doors don't open immediately at sundown. That is the precaution, is that she can't get out, because you can't just keep like a liver in your bedside drawer in case you wake up kind of hungry. So she does have to get to the basement to substantiate. And I wonder if this morning she doesn't quite make it through the routine. Like, she might just be munching straight on something in the basement directly out of the freezer.
Yeah. I think that's why for me, like, we don't see the routine. We just get the 3 hard cuts. We don't even know what happens between them. And in a way, it sort of probably mirrors the way Janet is operating right now. For people who don't know, we don't really delve into it as much as we used to early on, but we should revisit the idea, is that as the hunger increases, it's that gnawing, inignorable just nag of like, I'm hungry, I'm starting to get really hungry. When you hit 4 and 5, especially, but 4, the thoughts are not impossible to maintain as your own, but it is so consistent, it's almost a completely dominating thought, where those who are less in control of their faculties, or those who are left less in control of just their self-control, are often daydreaming or not really all there, or just like really focused. And so when we do that 9 to 5 hard cut of like, we're just kind of seeing what I imagine Janet's like moments of control, moments of like, I'm here and then lost to the hunger. I'm here, lost to the hunger. Very much muscle memory making her way down the stairs.
Yep.
As she enters that room, I'm sure there's a separate, I know everything's deadlocked, but I also imagine if there's a hunger frenzy, actually, let me ask you that. If Janet is worried that she's so hungry that there could be a problem, would she have had additional security built in? Granted, it would be expensive, and the more security built in, the more potential exploitation anybody who knows tech would have. But
well, this is why only Leon knows that he designed it. So Leon's on the hook for this one.
Sure, but I'm just, I guess I want to, would Janet have some sort of extra protection built in if she feels the hunger is at a point where she may not have full control over it? Obviously, the protection of all the doors stay locked.
Right, that she can't get out, I think, is the first one. The second precaution is that she always has enough, right? It's like a fully stocked freezer. So I think probably what happens is, the beast is what takes her down there. The beast knows where there's food. So it goes running down there. It consumes at whatever rate it needs to. And when she kind of comes to, she realizes how empty the freezer is. Now that's the concern. Because now you're talking about it needing fresh bodies.
Yeah. So you make your way into there. You kind of set up as best you can with the focus that you can maintain. But as soon as you see blood, where you would need to make me a frenzy check.
Okay.
So would you see blood opening the fridge?
Yep. Well, I mean, it's not I don't know is it the blood? Is it the organs? I mean, it's all in the freezer, so I'm going to say yes.
Yep.
Hey, I did it.
Hey, that's all that I needed to know. That's all that matters. So, we don't have to really explore all that much the threat of the beast for Janet, at least, as she's endured it. I don't know how often she's really succumbed to the beast beyond maybe her first few nights, but for her, the beast's biggest threat is the loss of control, the not knowing where she is, the blank moments of muscle memory movement. And while, yes, at a hunger 4, you certainly can assert yourself and control. You're not lost to the beast entirely. It's really easy to just kind of let go and let the beast guide you ever so slightly. So maybe even, as we get that hard cut, that lingering 5 from 9 to 5, then the kind of softer but still hard cut of the the fridge opening, but our vision is within the fridge. And as the fridge opens, we get a really good look at Janet in this moment. Maybe we don't even see the plastic apron on her.
No.
Maybe she's not fully prepared in the way that she normally would. When we see, the door open, there's no pleasant smile. There's no warm friendliness. It's pure, just cold hunger. She doesn't even look or go over the things that you see in her fridge. We see the fridge open, and almost instantly her hand reaches in, grabs a few things, slaps it on the table behind her, the metallic table, ripping open plastic or whatever it's being kept in. And there's probably, like you said, there's probably not even any preparation. You probably just reach down and grab a liver or whatever, and you just start biting it and chewing it and just eating it as it is without preparation. I will say this is probably the last of your food.
Yep.
The question, and I'll leave it up to you. I trust you. Do you think there's enough food in here to bring you to 1 hunger, or would it be closer to bringing you just to 2 hunger?
So my guess would be if she does feed to 3 hunger, there is literally nothing left, right? Like she's empty. That's it. She's out of back stock of body.
You still have your faculties. You still have your senses. Would you save enough food? Would you bring yourself down to 2 hunger, or would you bring yourself down to 1?
She is Janetti. So she does, when she kind of catches herself in the viscera of it all, I imagine there's a moment where she kind of catches her breath and she wipes her face with a napkin very delicately to try to play into the fact that she didn't just tear into what she did, and she will gather her faculties to only feed to 2 hunger, knowing there's 1 thing left in the fridge, and that's not good for her.
Right.
Yeah, that's not good for her at all.
So that takes probably, like you said, kind of your morning. As you finish eating, the door is unlocked, and as the doors kind of hit that unlock noise, our vision moves to another room in the house, where David is likely being kept. David, you don't have Elspeth with you this time around. You probably returned here on your own, I imagine, because actually, let me just ask David. Would Janet's place be the place you would default to for daytime rest?
I think so. I think David would be surprised that he was sort of, quote unquote, remanded to the care of Elspeth, but Elspeth has not been around, and it feels more like the care has been diligently dropped to Janet. So somewhere in his mind, David is not trying to be a pest, but his curiosity piques as a presence in the home of Janet. And he realizes that he can be rather daunting at times, given just his sheer size. So he has attempted to stay within arm's reach as a convenience to her and not in her way.
Sure. So when the door's unlocked and the night begins, does David just stay in his room, or does he leave? When
I think he's begun amassing books in the library.
Yeah.
This might be the first time where, no, maybe not the first time, maybe second time, where David's kind of left to his own devices in the morning, quote unquote morning, when he rises. I imagine then you stayed in the library, and you immediately you said you just start kind of going through, as you open your eyes. This time, last time there was Janet standing over you. This time there's nobody here to greet you. Wherever it is you went into torpor is where your eyes open. And again, you don't feel exhaustion. You didn't dream, but you said you would just go right to reading.
I think so, yeah. I think he's probably selected a handful of books based off of fables and myths. He has it's not necessarily a desire, but a bizarre kinship to avian beings. So anything that's related to angels or birds, fables relating around flying creatures, he's interested in. So that's probably some things that he would look for.
Okay. Let me ask you a further probing question. Would David find himself more drawn to religious texts of various kinds, not necessarily just Christian, though it is New England and Catholic, Irish Catholic, Italian Catholic is pretty dominant out here. But is it religious texts in general? Is he drawn more to fairy tales, fiction? Is there something that we see David as we watch him maybe picking out some books? Is there a genre that he is more drawn to? Like you said, you're drawn to more avian stuff, but
likely historical occultism.
Okay.
Particularly given the area, the way that things are handled, especially going through the shop of, was it Nightshade and Bloom, right?
Yeah.
it has this very like naturally occult and witchy vibe, and that would probably strike a chord, right? It's a lot of like symbolism that he sees, and it piques his curiosity as well. So,
then
anything that he
question
can read
then
with
goes
that.
to Janet, how big is your library? And is there a particular
Oh goodness.
leaning in your collection, or your husband's once collection rather? I don't know if you've ever added to it.
Well, I'm happy to say that there are, in fact, kind of pictures of this library in the house. So it is on what would be considered the technically third floor if you consider the basement the first, right? So it's the second floor of non-basement level. And it's kind of in the middle of this piece of this kind of long, narrow townhouse, and it's not giant. It is an office. It is a high class man's office.
Sure.
So think leather, and the bookshelves go floor to ceiling. But her husband wasn't really an intelligent man. Right. So this library is amassed with books that he thought would make him look smart. Right? Okay. He would have brought people in here to flex, to do business, to try to convince them that he was worthy of handling their money. So this is a guy who's got a collection of shit he probably has never touched or read. But it's a collection that he thinks would make him look smart. So
make him look smart. Got it.
So he probably has Shakespeare. Sure. We flexed, Catholic.
Sure.
Though we never, haven't, been to a mass in probably years. Here, I'll actually send this image so you can see.
If you or Dot want to kind of like collaborate on what kind of titles they might be, then I'm for it.
I'm thinking probably Shakespeare. There would be religious text, right? There's got to be a Bible. She pulled one. There's a full encyclopedia run. You'd have other things like he's going to have some finance books because he's got to flex that he knew what the hell he was doing. He probably has, a collection of the classics, right? Moby Dick and, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but they're all leather bound and they're supposed to make him look smart and like.
Yeah.
It's more expensive books, is what it sounds like. First editions, that sort of thing.
It's expensive, not quality here. He was going for the flex. Yes, that's a perfect way to put it.
And so, David, you said what were you drawn to specifically?
Occultism, anything relating to like biblical creatures, anything also avian, just flying things.
I think you would end up being drawn as you wander around. You start pulling books and stuff, and you said, occultism, ancient beliefs and such. I imagine your husband, even if he never read it, because he probably saw it and thought it was like one of those situations where he, again, appears smarter than he is just simply by having the book. Your character would actually, let's have your character make me roll real quick. Can you make me a intelligence academics roll, David?
Would my specialty in art history be of assistance here?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
You got it. 0 and 1. 1 success.
Yeah, definitely not anything you would recognize or would draw your interest. Obviously, you were reading the Bible. Your husband probably had a collection, a single book collection, maybe printed in maybe a decade or two ago at this point, so the early 2000s, of the Gnostic Bibles. Are you aware of the Gnostic Bibles, Bub?
No.
Okay, so the Gnostic Bibles, just so you know, are Bibles that were discovered after the canonical Bible was put together. They are, you were talking, that's where like the Gospel of Thomas comes from. The Gospel of Judas Iscariot comes from. The Gospel of Mary comes from. The thing is historically, they're either argued to be written around the same time or a little later than the canonical Bibles that we use. However, the canonical Bibles are also written about a generation or two after Jesus' death. So you're looking at these things, historically, they were found in the 40s in an Egyptian tomb, then dated back to ancient Greece, blah, blah, blah. However, as David goes through them, you wouldn't have time to go through all of them, but you'd start picking up that these kind of tell a very different story of our understanding of Catholicism, a way more occult understanding of Catholicism. As you read through it, it basically, actually, let's go ahead and have you make me another roll to see what kind of you pull from this.
Sure.
I guess intelligence academics is the best to like flip through, like as you're going through a book.
Okay.
You can always rouse it if you want to add, if you think this is important.
I don't think David would know if it's important.
Sure.
So if it was something that piqued his interest, then he might like reread it a second time.
It would dedefinitely pique your occult interest.
Okay, then sure, I'll rouse.
Academics, no, for reading, I don't think occult is really like the right call.
Okay, yeah, I will. No, I don't think I'm gonna rouse it. It makes sense for him to just sort of consume the material first.
Like reading it, taking it in.
2 successes.
That's still pretty good. You can get the gist of it. Basically, as you're reading through, because a lot of them, they're all rather incomplete. Especially the Gospel of Judas has like barely the Gospel of Mary is missing like all but 2 or 3 pages. But as you kind of quickly go through some of these, there's a running theme through them all. And the theme is that Jesus wasn't God. He was closer to like a guru, where he was saying enlightenment to heaven and all that stuff is through self-enlightenment, meditation, caring about other people. A lot of the same messages, but different perspective. And that the God that Christianity worships, Yahweh, is not the correct God. He's more of a materialistic God. And that there's a God above him that is like what Jesus says in the Gnostic Bibles is unknowable. He is everything, all things, unity, omnipotent, pure love, whatever. And I would say with David rolling 2, it's hard to figure out what the fuck, how Yahweh was like a materialistic God and stuff. And there's, bits and pieces that you just don't understand. But that's, I'd say, the general idea of these Gnostic Bibles as you read through them is they fit closer to occult understanding than Catholic understanding. And I'd say maybe David, after having read the Bible the last time he was here, David and Goliath and stuff, reading these, it's an interesting contrast. Historically, there's a lot of reasons for it, but nothing that I don't think David would really know or care about right now. But I bet you that would probably scoop his attention, especially since the last night you were reading the Bible and now you read something that is somewhat different.
Given what I've experienced thus far with David and these occasional like intersecting memories or the things that sort of like break through the pale, after reading these, do I feel, or is there anything that I might be able to do to sort of just scan the back of my mind or my emotions to see if something in me is like deeply religious, or why I might have this desire to read things like this?
I think I know what you're trying to ask. I guess I would allow maybe like a wit's insight on yourself.
Okay. Wits, insight. 7 successes.
Yeah, messy critical too, which is not really, I would say, David, I would say with the messy critical, there's definitely a part of you that feels an unignorable pull toward the religious. With a messy critical, I would say, yeah, I don't want to fuck around. Like messy criticaling this could. Let me just say that I would say your character knows they have an interesting pull. However, there's something about it that is deeply curious and less religious or fanatical. It's more of, you feel this like buried intellectual curiosity on religion that feels insatiable to you.
Okay.
But you don't. It's not like you as you read this, you're feeling blasphemy. Fuck, like this is not correct. You don't feel hyper religious. You just feel insatiably curious.
So somewhat more of maybe like a philosophical approach as opposed to something that's tearing it apart.
I think that's closer to what you may feel. Whether you identify that as you or just something like a filter you see things through is totally up to you. But it's more of a philosophical, intellectual curiosity about religion that feels deeply a part of you, rather. As you kind of read these books, there's something about it that's like a satisfying something that you didn't know you needed satisfied.
Okay.
Reading these Gospels, I would say, with the 2 academics' intelligence, it doesn't, as you read it, it doesn't feel familiar, but you're still
Right.
not certain you haven't read these before. It's that
Okay.
weird middle ground.
It's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, and I assume you're reading until you're interrupted then?
Yes, until someone needs him or he suddenly has like a bizarre urge to get him into something else.
Absolutely. Then Janet, I will say, as you finish eating, David's here. It's not something that would surprise you. Would you go check in on him once you've kind of composed yourself?
Yeah, I imagine she has to change clothes after the carnage, and so she goes back upstairs and almost has to redo the whole routine, over. And so she shows up, I think, a little later than usual. But eventually she does come click-clacking, with her modest housewife heels onto the second floor to find you, I imagine, deep in a book where she left you last night.
Yeah. As you walk in, you actually see him reading maybe a book that you knew your husband owned, but you never fucking read.
Yeah,
I don't know how religious Janet feels. I don't even know if she would. I mean, it's up to you if Janet.
She actually probably won't even cross the threshold of the library doors.
Okay, so the door opens and she just looks in and you see him reading.
Did you take a break at all?
Good morning, Janet. I did. Yes, I did not want to bother you.
Well, that's probably a good thing. I didn't really want to be bothered this morning.
David just kind of stands there and smiles politely, looking at you, kind of staring blankly at you.
I need to go finish the suit and the jacket. What you reading?
I found another of your husband's books. It's another Bible. But it is different than the one that I had read about David and Goliath.
Like a different edition or something?
I think it is written by different people.
Oh. Okay, so various authors?
I think so. The Bible seems very important to a lot of people.
It seems very important to you. It's all you've read for the past 2 nights.
I haven't found much else that's been as intriguing. I was looking for something that maybe I could read a bit more about me, but there's not too many books here about
Well, kid,
us.
Do you want to, I'll take you to Mass. You want to go confess your sins? Would it make you feel better? Light a candle? A couple Hail Marys?
Have I committed sins?
Well, honey, that ain't for me to judge. That's what the confessional is for. I can't say whether you sinned or not, but, if you're drawn to the idea, I'll take you to go stand under a cross.
I don't know if I am interested or intrigued by the Bible and the things that are written inside as much as I find it interesting that so many people follow the texts inside, especially since they're different between the books.
Well, honey, this is the age-old question. Who's right? Religious wars have been fought over it. People have died over it. You plague yourself with some really big questions on a night-to-night basis.
Well, I am new.
Yeah, honey, but I didn't come out of the womb pontificating on my existence.
But did you come out of the womb 7 feet tall and with
No,
wings?
honey, I can't say I was as well formed as you were. No, I had to grow the normal way. But I think what I'm saying is, let's get out of the house.
Oh, can we have another shake?
Okay, we can go get a milkshake. Why don't we start with let me finish your suit? I'm happy to announce that I will have 2 options for you based upon your comfortabilities.
Okay.
Okay, and then we can maybe take a walk. Because I think, you can only learn so much from books and take it from somebody that never completed high school but now handles money for the mob.
I would like to go for a walk.
I thought so. All right, kid. Finish whatever chapter you're reading and put it to rest for a minute, yeah? It'll do you some good. Okay, all right. Good lad. Okay.
And, there's that, okay. And you see Janet, walk around, and she's like, I'm walking. She's going to walk away and finish the suit that she needs to finish. David will continue reading. And while that's happening, Betty is MIA. Question for Josh. Obviously, where we left off was is there, before we pick up with what I want to pick up with, is there anything that Sean would do? Sean fucking
Leon.
Leon would do as he gets up this morning, knowing where we left off last time. Yeah, Sean would do something different anyway.
You'd be smoking. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Is there anything Leon would want to do as he wakes up in the morning? Do you remember where we left off last time? Well, like the scene we left off with. Seeing that thing on the computer.
He was looking at a very bizarre, what he's going to call a hologram on his computer.
Sure.
So we're under Janet's advice, he has gone to stay with a friend over the last few days. And I feel like...
Do you know her actual name, or do you only know her as her contact name?
Oh, no. He probably never asked her name, but he knows her name.
And do you know where she lives, or...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how they know each other so well. So he's going to be at let's just call her Optimus Prime Rib.
Yeah,
for the
we'll
time
just call
being.
her Optimus Prime Rib for now. So let me ask you then, as you get set her up, where in Boston does she live? What is her? Is she? For those who are not you and me, kindred, not kindred, something you keep to yourself for now.
Hilariously, she is entirely mortal.
And she has no idea, right, about you?
Oh, she has no idea. She's just also nocturnal.
Love that. Okay. So yeah, where does she live? And as our, we see Janet walking away, and our camera slowly pans to black as it cuts across. When it picks up, what kind of hovel are we looking at, and where in the Boston area are we?
I'm gonna say it's closer to Dorchester.
Okay.
Like kind of where I'm looking at the map. Kind of in the Nosferatu controlled area. I think that would make the most sense.
South of the Back Bay, South Central.
Yeah, the southern part of that.
Okay, so you're like butting up against Anarch territory in a way. Okay, that's totally fine. And what kind of where does she live? Like an apartment? Like, as we kind of come to, you've never stayed here before.
No.
How do you ensure? Do you bring like a sunproof sleeping bag? Like, how do we see Leon having had set up here?
He is probably, you know what? It is a fairly classic basement apartment. So there's like one tiny window.
Yep.
Or maybe a couple if you're lucky, that is very high up, but they're papered over. They're like covered in probably comic book pages.
I love it.
Just pasted on there to block out the light. And this was not by him. This was by Optimus.
Right. You actually probably wake up to the sounds of typing off not too far away from your friend as your eyes open, and Leon kind of sits up, aware of like, okay, you're here now, and you're alive. Obviously, nobody stabbed you while you were asleep. Does Optimus live in like is it a finished basement, all one room? Does she have the whole house? Does she hit me with the details?
I think this is a I mean, we're still relatively central to Boston, so this is a relatively nice, maybe duplex situation. Upstairs, downstairs, still kind of technically a flat, and it's like two rooms stacked on top of each other, and a lot of the let's say less legal gear is in the basement, and then the normal living situation exists above that. So this is a very large room that is kind of like workshop / tech hangar. Like, imagine Tony Stark but poor.
Right. Yeah. And as you kind of like take in the room, and you see the glow of a nearby actual computer screen, not a laptop screen, you actually see your contact individual that you know simply as Optimus Prime Rib. And what you see is like a messy mop of hair that's I guess like long, like a dark brown, maybe even a black. It's hard to tell. You've never even seen her in person other than briefly last night when you showed up and, were like, I need to stay here for the day. She's slouched like I usually am, or any of us are, in their computer chair where they exactly hunched shoulders, kind of leaning over, hair draped forward a bit. And you see 3 different coffee mugs, one clear that's been empty of coffee for a while, and at the very bottom is that dark circle where whatever coffee was there is just like dried up and stained it.
Yeah.
You also see like a what do you call it? Not like a Stanley cup, but like those freaking insulated cups, like those. Yeah, that she actually has a straw sticking out of that she's pulling over, and you see her sipping another dark liquid that is very likely some sort of coffee. And then another
Mine
mug.
is a Stanley.
Yeah, oh, there you go. And then another big white mug that just says "Best Cat Mom" on it. That also has. And you look around, you don't see any cats. That also seems to be empty, and she does not even. She's not even. Let me actually make a roll for her, but I doubt she's even aware that you woke up. Not 2d100, please.
She's locked in.
Is this your sire? Who is the? How's this person related to you?
No, she's my contact.
Oh, contact. Okay. I missed that part.
Oh, I need to turn off 3D dice rolling. Why is it on? Like, why is this taking forever? Turn this. There we go. Let me try rolling that again. Oh no, I got it. 1 success. Yeah, you just hear the clicking and then the tapping away with a flickering computer screen in front of her as she's hunched. How tall is she? Is she like average height?
She's probably like 5'8", 5'9".
Okay, so she's pretty tall.
She's not short.
Yeah. Leaned in and typing away. Doesn't notice at all what you're doing. Doesn't notice at all, rather, that you sat up.
I sit up and I kind of walk across the room very calmly, and I put a hand on her shoulder. I'm like,
probably startles her, actually.
Did you get any sleep?
As she whips around, she actually like straw in her mouth. Oh shit! Man, you wake up. And she like clears her throat, and she just kind of lazily points at her computer screen. As you look over, you actually see she's been going through transcripts of police communications over the past however long she's been awake. And you see some body cam footage that's definitely not what she's supposed to have, of an alleyway with a dead body leaned up against the wall. Go ahead and make me a wit streetwise check.
Oh, crap.
Leon.
Well, do I have any streetwise? No. 1 success.
Okay. You wouldn't recognize any of the markers on the wall or anything. But she gestures to it and she's like, you notice anything weird about this?
Aside from body cam footage and dead body? No.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Watch. And she reaches forward and she just like clicks on her mouse and she just hits it like to ×4. And you watch the body cam footage just start to speed up. And what you notice initially is like, it just looks like a normal kind of maybe transient or homeless man who's just shot dead on the side of the road, which here in Boston happens more often than is you care to admit, but most of the time doesn't really matter. They're kind of cleaned up, they're filed away as John Doe, and they're forgotten about. But as this speeds up, you realize there's a couple cops, then there's a couple more, and by the end of it all, there seems to be 5 or 6 cops all meandering with crime tape around this thing. And for you, yeah, I'd say you notice like they're for somebody who seems to be a nobody, there seems to be a lot of police involvement out of nowhere with this particular body. And as it continues to speed up, eventually what you see is the body cam turns and there's somebody with like a raincoat that's like kind of covers them top to bottom that has like an FBI logo on the side. And as soon as that happens, you actually see the police's hand come up, hit a button on the body cam. However, body cams continue rolling for an additional, I think it's 30 seconds after they turn it off. So you see him reach up, it covers the camera, and there's a moment where there clearly a button is being held, but his hand stays over it, though not good enough where you can't see. There's some you can hear conversation between him and the individual who's walking over from the FBI. You could tell they move away from the cop lights as the flickering lights get duller, but after about 30 seconds and then cuts off After it does, she kind of just taps really loudly, sets it back to the beginning, spins in her chair over to you, and then sits a little bit more upright. And she goes, "Ain't that some weird shit? Or am I just?" And she just gestures to her empty cup of coffee, just not caffeinated enough.
That monster shit'll kill you.
She shrugs, and she kind of she just gestures around like, when does that ever stop me from? She just now. When was the last time you saw some fucking beat cops give two shits about a dead guy laying in an alleyway somewhere?
They do all sorts of weird things. Where is that?
She raises her eyebrows. Oh yeah, they do all sorts of weird things, so weird that you want to know where it is. And she starts like tapping away. I've been trying to fucking figure that out. I got this sent to me by, and she just kind of like cuts herself off short. I didn't get it directly. I didn't get any location, and I had to pay a bit of a. Anyway, I lost some money today. But and she just like she starts looking this alleyway, and she shakes her head. If you look at the bricking behind this thing is old, not taken care of, not really all well kept up. It can't be any of the rich people fucking live anyway. So, and I'm guessing, and she looks as she keeps looking at it. You can, if you want, you can make an offer to like sit down and look at the back end files. She's like, I can't seem to crack like the the data set behind this thing. I don't know which police station this is coming from. If we could figure that out, we could probably at the very least figure out where in Boston this is. Listen, if the
don't
she just stops for a minute, she's like,
and
listen, this could be like good money. If this is somebody that's not who he seems he is, and we could figure that out, there's got to be somebody out there who's looking for this individual, right? Cops wouldn't be doing this for somebody that isn't connected.
I mean,
it could be a payday.
The dead guy could be connected. I mean, you should follow that up. And there's
I paid like $1,000 for this shit, so I am gonna follow this shit up.
I've got a job for you if you want your grand back, but it doesn't. We'll get to that later. There's. I
like
literally roll her out of the way.
Like, she doesn't get out of the chair, but she does roll her computer out of the way. And are you looking to like maybe try and get into like the actual like data of these files?
I think there's like a slight panic in how he's tapping out at the computer here. So
go ahead and make me an intelligence technology check.
Plus hacking or no?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah! All right, 4 successes.
That's beautiful. And I know it's only 3, but let's do a break right here. Then we'll pick up for the last 2 hours normally. I need to make a quick phone call. And then we'll be back. Sorry, guys, but yeah, we'll be back for our normal 2 hours in a minute. We'll be back.
Let's hope this isn't a masquerade breach.
No, let's hope not. We're back. Thank you guys for your patience. Break is over. We'll pick up right where we left off. Leon, what did you say right before we bounced? I apologize.
That's a great question.
Well, she, like, as we cut right back into the scene, she's like, listen, I paid $1,000 for this information. This shit better pay off. And the person I got it from, she just kind of like lets that drop and like linger there without really confirming or denying whatever that means. I just don't know of any opportunity. I can't think of a point in time where the fucking cops are fucking giving too much of a shit about some homeless fuck dying in an alleyway where they have the FBI agent show up and they turn off their fucking body cams.
Well, let's do some face searches.
Oh yeah, you were gonna try and actually like crack into the actual core of the files. So
well, that was it. I got 4 successes as I was trying
that's right.
crack into
and
the
you
rest of the stuff.
You could reroll 2, but 4 successes is very good. Obviously, you can also reroll 2 if you wanted to reroll 2 of those.
I will not.
Okay. With 4 successes, I imagine it's like because the conversation kind of got cut off and you started like scooching her out of the way without saying anything. So she rolls her chair out of the way off that small little carpet that is on the actual concrete floor that prevents her rolling chair from rolling all over the place. She slides off that as you walk over and I imagine get down on, because you're very tall, you get down to your knees and you start typing away. You start opening up the file, looking at the data, the TXT, all the back end stuff of these things. And as you start flipping around, you are able to actually put a location to this thing. Not out of like looking at like the any GPS tracker, but you actually get the name of the officer this body cam is off, cross-reference it with a log of known officers that you've been tracking for over the course of X number of years, and are able to triangulate the area in which this was likely done. This is, of course, the corpse that Betty came across at the end of last episode. Betty, do you remember where I told you that was? Was that in the south or was that up in north? Do you remember?
I was in the
I feel like you were further south.
Southeast Venture area.
Okay. So as you kind of put it together, maybe some flags start going off. I mean, cops in Boston are bought and paid for. Various different, not only just various different crime families, but obviously those above that, the kindred, and then who knows who else. But the Venture in particular, especially within their territory, cops are bought and paid for. If this is anything to do with kindred, it would have to do directly with the Venture would have to know in some way. Those within the connections. Can you make me an intelligence politics check, please?
Ooh, okay. I'm going to Raz check for an extra 2.
Okay.
Oh, 7. Messy critical.
Ooh, that's beautiful. Messy critical. Again, with a knowledge roll for like politics, maybe you openly say it in front of your contact here. You're like you're starting you get lost in as you kind of like drop to a knee, start cracking into the data. 5 or 10 minutes pass. It's a hyper focus. It's an obsession. It's your passion. You forget who's around you. You start mumbling to yourself openly without thinking about it. And as you start figuring out, you're like, wait, that's Venture territory. Isn't that like, oh fuck, well that's Beryl Underwood's territory. Isn't that? And you start kind of mumbling out loud. And after you say some names, there is let me make a roll for her actually really quickly.
Might not have this contact very long.
Let me see if she knows. One success. She just you just hear her say, "What? Wait a minute, Beryl Underwood, like James Underwood's dad or something from like the 1800s or some shit. What are you talking about?" And that moment probably snaps you back into the situation of like where you're at, and you see her sitting in her chair, her legs crossed with her like a furrowed brow, and you see her just opening and unlocking her cell phone as she's maybe likely not calling anybody, probably doing like a Google search. And what do you mean what's a Ventrue?
Of course. Yeah, I mean someone from the 80. You know what? Forget about it. I'm gonna use cloud memory.
Yeah. Is that cloud memory free or do you need to rouse?
It is free.
Okay, yeah, and you just say, go ahead. You just look at her and she's just looks up at you and you're like, you know what?
Like,
just forget about it. Can you just paste that power real quick? I just want to read it.
Yeah, I don't have the full description. I've got the quick one.
That's fine. I can just look it up.
But it is dominate, and I
You're right.
grab her eyes.
Yeah, you usually get her
I'm looking
attention. I just
for
want to see like how detailed it is because I can't remember.
It's just like not very specific stuff over the last 5 minutes.
Okay. So
Ish.
you look at it and you're like, you know what, just forget about it. And the way she was holding her phone, her wrist kind of goes limp a little bit. There's a little bit less tension in her arm as it sags for a moment. She blinks a couple times and then she looks genuinely confused. Wait,
I'm gonna go over to her and press the delete button on the search that she was doing.
Yeah, you look down at the phone, and you just see the name Underwood typed in, and there's a Google search that hasn't fully gone through. Would you like to rouse the blood, sir, so you can use your warm touch to touch her touch phone?
I forgot about that. Yeah,
Use
I guess
her
I
warm
will- I will
touch.
have
Use
to.
her warm touch.
Yeah.
Use her finger.
You could.
Okay.
Grab her hand
her
and put it
finger
on.
Tap it on the
So
screen.
as you walk over, you're probably walking over and you're like, you know what? Just forget about it. And as you do so, go ahead and make me a dexterity. Let's see if you can do it quick enough before she like kind of blinks into.
Is that larceny?
Cognizance is the word I'm looking for, I think.
Don't make it larceny.
What is it?
I was like,
Athletics?
yeah, Dex Athletics probably is your best bet.
Stealth?
No. It would be larceny.
It's
because
larceny.
It's like that kind of very
sorry,
quick,
John.
deft
Okay,
hand
fine.
maneuver. Yeah. No,
larceny.
larceny is the better call here. Dex larceny check.
Yeah, sure. All right.
Do you want to rouse the blood?
Oh, I didn't think about that.
I called it before I saw the roll, so I'll let you add another 2d10 if you want to rouse it again.
Well, at that point, I might as well have done it with my own finger. So
that's true, but I mean, you didn't think about it.
yeah, sure.
It's great. You can leave it at that. You don't have to rouse the blood if you don't want to.
Oh, nice.
Add 2 more die. Give me 2 more die. Unless you're saying you're touching it yourself.
Fucking hell. No, I was doing a reroll, a rouse check for the reroll. I've got 1 success. Let's go with that.
There's a moment where you're like, you know what? And you probably put your hand over her hand when you say forget about it. And she kind of does like a blink a couple of times. And in that moment, you're like, okay, I've got like 2 seconds. You quickly take her finger and you're trying to like, I don't know what you would attempt to do in this moment and like how to make it go away other than like minimize the screen, you know, like get rid of it without deleting it, but like getting rid of it off the main screen.
Yep.
With one success, she probably like comes to as you're like moving her hand, and she quickly like I'll say you will get rid of the screen, but not before she realizes you're doing something. And she whips her hand back, and she looks up to you. She goes, no. When the fuck did you get up? What? And she looks around. She looks a little confused,
did I get up?
and she's like,
"Are you having heart palpitations? Is it
she
the
looks
coffee?"
to you, and she's like, did you touch? There's a moment where you could tell she's debating kicking you out right now. It is fully up to you on how you're able to.
I'm just gonna I'm just gonna fully gaslight her and be like,
"Give me a manipulation subterfuge roll, please."
You were about to drop your phone. I'm trying to fucking wheedle my way out of this. Okay, 3 successes.
3 successes, and you can reroll 2 of them with a willpower if you choose.
I don't have a lot of that, but why not? Yeah, 5.
5 successes. There's and you're like, you were about to drop your phone as you're letting go of her hand, and like, you know, she was kind of pushing something away. As she looks down, you just see it's back to just because you just swiped it off the screen momentarily. It's back to her homepage, and it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know how you feel about it, but you see it's like a picture of like the Grim Reaper, but just like a profile shot of the skull, and the scythe is made out of 1s and 0s. It's like pure, the scythe itself is made out of data, but the Grim Reaper is like there, and it's just a bunch, there's no organization. It's just a bunch of icons that have no organization whatsoever as you get a quick glimpse. And she looks up to you, genuinely foggy and confused from you having her forget. And then you're like, you were about to drop your phone. Like, I was just trying to catch your phone. And I'll say with 5 successes plus the cloud memory, while she is absolutely confused, doesn't remember you waking up, looks just kind of blank-faced at you. And doesn't really know what to say because she doesn't understand what's going on in this moment. You've wiped a messy past 5 minutes of her memory where you quickly kind of like sat down. She would remember you pushing her out of the way to get onto the computer to hack, and then that chunk access files.
Oh, yeah.
And then that chunk would be missing for her. And so she looks confused, and she just doesn't really know what to say. And you can see the blank confusion on her face. Clearly she buys that she was about to drop her phone, but she just looks around and she sees her bong is kind of a ways off. What?
Cool phone background. Do you watch
She
Hackers
like
too?
feels up for her own head. Do I have a fever?
I don't know. You okay? You were stressed out about like losing $1,000.
Yeah. The footage that you were about to look into.
Yeah, I'll go look into that. You have a drink of something that's not got caffeine in it.
Yeah, I probably should get a water. Okay. And she stands up, and with that like slight confusion to her, she walks off, and you see her grab a bottle of water off in the distance. I assume you pretend to re-access the files and whatnot.
Yeah.
This time you're more aware of your own vocalizations. But yeah, you know that, it's Venture territory. The Venture primogen is Brent Underwood, who you've never talked to, never had access to. I don't know what you would do with that information. However, you would know the location being in like South Venture territory. You would know that the cops are likely under the thumb of the most influential Venture or other kindred, and
they're chasing down whatever this dead homeless person is.
Yeah, I don't know what you would, Leon.
The only question I have is, can I get a photograph of the person that arrived just before they covered up their body cam?
Ooh, okay, interesting. Yeah, let me go ahead and make me an intelligence technology check again. The specialization of hacking wouldn't work here.
No.
This is more trying to get a photo and like customly up-res it as best you can. 4 successes. You're able to get a shot of this thing. The problem is like it was dark. It's body cam footage, and it was being lit by street lights and stuff. You have a shot of the individual that you can tell is female. Details are a little hard to see, but not necessarily impossible. But you can get like yourself a screenshot. You can even make yourself, if you wanted to make a copy of this footage, you could. I imagine you have a USB drive on you at any given opportunity.
Yeah, and this is one thing that Leon would ask Optimus before he did, because no one plugs shit into other people's shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they would get, you'd get clearance. Just no Trojans or nothing. She says kind of a half-heartedly, still slightly kind of out of it and confused, joking tone.
So is this woman that turned up a Fed?
They're wearing an FBI. It looks like the FBI logo on their overcoat. So that's where the interest is. As the person walks back with the water, she takes us a gulp. So, yeah, I was thinking we got a couple of options, right? We could try and figure out who's on this tape and maybe blackmail them, get their address, let them know. Maybe we get their names of their family, send some threatening anonymous messages, maybe set up a cryptocurrency account where they can deposit some. Or if they're unwilling to do that, we could sell this information off to a higher bidder, especially if, as she looks to you as she's walking over, you figured some shit out that might make this information more valuable than it was when I got it pawned off to me.
Don't look into this. Sell it off.
Okay. She kind of makes like gives you a moment, and then her hands go back and forth like, I need more than that. I can't just sell it. Like, what else? What'd you learn? Do you know? And she looks to you with like a hurried interest. Do you know where it is? Do you know who it was? Do you know who I could even reach out to? Listen, I'm willing to do all the dirty work and cut you in on this stuff, but I need to know more. Otherwise, it's no more valuable than what I paid for it.
He just shows a picture of an FBI Asian?
Her eyes widen a bit, and she walks over. I assume you're holding your
yeah, on my
or
on
like
my phone.
you spin the monitor over to her or whatever, and she walks over, and then she like puts the water bottle down without putting the cap on it. She's like, "Oh, this is gonna be worth so much more than I thought it was. A fucking Fed is involved.
This is a good way to get yourself arrested and sent to prison."
Yeah, if they were smarter than us, and they're not. A Fed's involved. Think about this. A Fed's fucking involved in the death of some homeless fuck. That means this homeless fuck was, maybe the homeless guy wasn't, maybe he was in intelligence. Maybe he was CIA contact. Maybe he's NSA. Maybe he's FBI.
What happened to you being a hacktivist?
We can spin to an easy 10 times, 10 grand. And listen, I did the hard work. I'm willing to take 70%, but you could get 30% cut in for this.
You were like trying to hack like Shell oil lines last time I talked to you. What happened?
What do you mean, what happened? Fuck the feds. I'm fucking scared of them. What are they going to do? How are they going to find us? You think the feds know what a fucking VPN is? Never mind the dark net? She like cracks out laughing. These people, I bet you within a day or two, we can find out who this bitch is married to, reach out and threaten her husband. Or maybe better yet, we find out who her husband is and we can start.
Don't fuck with the FBI.
Since when did you lose your balls?
The last time I met them.
She walks over to her bong, takes a huge rip, and lets smoke out. As like you can see her nerves calm a bit. Really? She looks you up and down. Listen, fucking Spider. I know this is the first time we've ever fucking met in person, but I didn't take you for a bitch. We've done worse shit than this. You and I have worked on worse shit than this. You think the feds are scarier than trying to crack into the Irish or Italian mob who run this fucking city?
I am not scared of the feds.
Right, then let's make some easy fucking money. I'll start looking into the name of this guy. I'll start looking into the details. Or you could just tell me the location and I'll start plucking away at some of the looser strings of the police. There's so many wicked fucking corrupt cops in this goddamn city. It'd be so easy. This $1,000 could be an easy 10 grand.
If you want to take down corrupt cops.
I don't want to take down corrupt cops. I want to squeeze them for all they're worth. Corrupt cops are worth a lot of money. I don't want corrupt cops to go away. What are you so scared? She genuinely looks frustrated now and a little confused. What the fuck are you so scared of? We have done shit worse than this. Do you not remember the time we took some fucking made man and like found out he was cheating on his wife and his wife was cheating on him? So we fucking blackmailed both of them. We made, what do we make? We made Ethereum off of them in a goddamn crypto wallet that we then realized they were trying to follow, decoupled it from its tracing, put it in a new wallet, cashed out, and then we got so fucking high and drunk for fucking weeks. That's nothing compared to this shit. The feds have infinite money. Look at what they're doing.
Those were good times.
Yeah, so why are you being a bitch?
There are just some things that should remain hidden. Find something else. I'll get you a job. There's a security gig that I need help with.
Is it becoming obvious that Leon is not going to budge?
So I think at this point he's like
there's clearly, I'm not saying that they're like
he's
there's
not
something
gonna budge.
there that Leon is not talking about clearly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That, and is it becoming clear that is like you are not willing to give more information about why you don't want to touch this?
Yeah, he's not going to give any more information about why. So
you can make me a wits awareness as you kind of lay down the line, and she's there's a moment of silence before the silence is broken by her the flicking of a lighter and the rippling bubbles of the bong as she takes another giant hit. And as she does, she puts the bong down, and as she lets the smoke billow out of her nose and her mouth, she says, "Fucking fine, but you better bring me something that's valuable like this." And with 3 wits awareness, no, wits insight, not wits awareness, my bad.
Oh, sorry.
I say wits awareness, my bad.
It's the same dice pool.
Oh, is it the same dice pool? Then it's fine. With 3 successes, I mean, again, you've never met Optimus Prime ribbon person before. This was a kind of a sudden thing. However, you can read that she ain't gonna let this go. She's gonna let you know that she's not gonna look into it anymore, but she's just gonna take it into her own hands. She doesn't. You can read it on her. Now, how you react, how Leon reacts, up to you.
Okay, fine. Tell me anything you get on this, and I will tell you anything I get on this to you.
Her eyes.
Because if you do this alone, you will get killed.
Fine, but your
I'm
cut's
not
now
gonna
down
tell
to
you why.
25%. And she cracks her fingers and like chuckles at that.
You bitch. Like,
now imagine you copy the data. Is there any data that you're trying to delete off of her PC before you step away?
No, I think anything that she's got isn't gonna cause any problems directly, because everything else I've kind of figured out in my own head, right? The territory and stuff.
All this is up here. Yeah, all the kindred information for you.
Yeah. Don't do anything without letting me know. I will let you know about the security gig so you can get paid without getting your head cut off. Okay.
She quietly just nods. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. She's like, this isn't gonna get us killed, man. Like, chill out.
I'm chill.
Yeah. She just kind of like says that, and you see her lean in. She just starts working away. You see her opening up, what is it called, Onion or something, the dark web browser. And she starts toiling away. Now, she will mostly go quiet as she too tends to hyper focus on what's in front of her. Is Leon leaving at this point with this information? Is there? Let me leave this before we leave Leon from computing. Is there anything you're looking to figure out other than location? Obviously, the snapshot of an FBI agent. Is there anything you're looking to pull from this data prior?
From this, I can't think of anything, so no.
Okay. I'll leave it then. I don't want to put ideas in your head if you don't have them.
Oh, is like there will be a decent shot of the dead body.
Oh, taking a look at the dead body? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did to the other players, did Leon meet this individual? I cannot remember.
No.
Okay, cool.
Leon,
you get a good shot of the individual? I need a wit streetwise from you to recognize the face.
Oh, me? Yeah. No, we're good.
Yeah, that's what I figured. You can choose to fail if you want. You don't have to roll it. But
I got 3.
Holy shit. I will say you don't know the name, but it is an individual face you have actually seen Betty speak to a couple times in the past. You never like when you approach Betty, it's usually the end of the conversation, but it is a face you have seen Betty converse with. Actually, wits awareness as you're going through the body cam footage.
Oh my god. Does his name start with
Give me
Jack?
Wits awareness, please.
Oh,
and you can re-roll 2 of those if you want.
I'm not gonna.
No? All right.
No,
it's funny because you probably don't notice her, actually. So you're looking at the, do you recognize the name? No, you wouldn't know the name of this individual. It's a definitely, I mean, it probably confirms to you the kindred connection. If you remember the face talking to Betty, that means there was information being exchanged.
Yeah, all right.
It's basically exclusively what Betty operates out of, or at least what she's best known for.
Yeah, I'll just write a note down, and because Optimus will be like fully head down in her own world.
No, she's not even paying attention anymore.
I'll write this down and then put it like a sticky note on her monitor, like research security reinforced doors and systems.
Yeah, gotcha.
Equals money.
And you slap that on there while she's working, and Leon kind of quietly heads out. Where's Leon's first target?
I don't want to go walking around a crime scene, so I'm going to go. I can't find Bessie. No one can find Bessie.
Might be able to try.
The others.
The next best thing, I'm gonna go bother Janet.
Excellent. As we see Leon walking out of the building, probably even debating internally where we're going to go as we follow him kind of up close. We see him stop at his vehicle, but our camera kind of keeps walking as you get in, and you think, well, I guess I should just go see Janet at this point. And the car rumbles to life as you drive off. But before we go over to Janet's, we cut to Betty. Betty obviously spent the night last night, hovering around the crime scene, taking in information. You see the cops, you see the FBI agent show up. You can't really get super close unless you use, obviously some, what do you call it, illusions and stuff. The next morning, where would Betty go?
Betty,
next evening, not morning.
Betty is looking for Leon, actually, ironically.
You maybe even go to his computer.
I did. The reason why I sat there and stayed there, as we remember, is because you said I would need to stay there if I wanted to get any investigation information.
I would say, because you were there to see the face, give me a for you a wits politics roll. I would also accept a wit streetwise roll in this, though they're different difficulties, with the streetwise being a little bit more difficult to succeed on.
I will do the wits streetwise.
Yeah, your pool's bigger for that. And do you want to rouse the blood, add 2d10, all that good
Yes,
stuff?
let's do it.
Okay, no hungrier, which is
for
good.
Mutt. And then let me double check. I think that my other one is for prospects, so I don't get that this time. Streetwise, wits. See how it goes. Ooh, 3.
A critical success.
Yeah.
Let me give you the full name then. Let me open up my freaking document. You would actually get the full name of the FBI agent that showed up. I'm trying to think if you would know who their kindred contact would be with. I would say no. You might not know who they speak with. However, you would know that they are. Oh God, how much do I want to give you here? Because critical, I want to make sure you're getting proper information.
I mean, the name gets me somewhere, right? I might not know who they're connected with.
I don't want your critical to be worthless. You know what I mean?
Oh, gotcha,
I know what I'll do. Actually, I know. You would know that this individual's name, their full name, obviously, but also they do speak to. You've seen them speak to a ghoul, let's say. The ghoul's name you only know as the first name of William. That's the name of the ghoul. You don't know exactly who they belong to, but the fact that it's so difficult for you to know much about the ghoul tells you that they're probably higher up in the Ventru food chain. Her name would be, fuck, do you know? God, why'd you have to roll a critical on this? It makes it so much more difficult for me. It makes it so much more difficult for me. Let's just say so you know her name is Helen. Or Helen Ramsey, we'll say, is her full name that you know. You know that she talks to a ghoul named William. You know the ghoul belongs to a higher up Ventru. I think I'm going to leave it at that. Even with the critical, I'm going to say that you don't know which Ventru they belong to. But they're like out of the wheelhouse of who Janet deals with. Doesn't mean Janet might not know the name, but it's not anybody you've seen. You've never seen this ghoul interact with Janet, anybody in Janet's circle before. But you have seen this particular familiar face that you now know belongs to an FBI agent. Speak with a ghoul of some repute in the past. Let's leave it at that. And again, the FBI agent's name is Helen Ramsey.
All right.
With that, you would have said you were looking for Leon.
I am looking.
I imagine
for
you
Leon.
probably went to Leon's internet cafe, and when you walk in, there's that same guy that's there playing games. He looks up and he sees you. He kind of gives you a weird little greeting because now it's not the first time he's seen you. He just gives you a half-hearted wave and goes back to typing. Do you just walk into the back room where Leon's office, quote unquote, is.
Yeah, I think that Betty, if this guy waves at Betty, Betty waves at them as well, but then does something where like kind of makes it look like there's something on his shoulder to like make him like look that way.
Sure.
And then she kind of seems like she disappears into Leon's office.
You very quickly realize Leon is nowhere around. He's not here. In fact, you wouldn't be able to tell. Yeah, he's not here. As you walk out of the office, I don't know if you would ask him, ask this individual who was very distracted.
Is there anything in Leon's office that would be interesting to Betty?
I mean, it depends on what you consider interesting. The most interesting thing in Leon's office would be his computer.
Well, that's not interesting to Betty.
Leon.
Like cigarettes, a bottle of something, that kind of stuff.
A what?
Like a bottle of alcohol or anything?
Alcohol, cigarettes.
I mean,
anything.
He doesn't smoke. There would probably be booze back there, but it's like old and dusty.
Oh, she takes it.
You're just like, is it like bottom shelf, top shelf booze? Like, what kind of booze is it?
It's like own brand cheap shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Plastic bottles.
Yeah. And he's probably got a variety of like random plastic collectibles.
Sure. Oh yeah, I don't need those. The
alcohol is all you want.
I just take the alcohol, yeah.
I eventually imagine Betty at some point would realize, okay, he's not here. Well, everybody seems to be going to Janet's lately. And well, that makes sense with David because David seems to be involved in all this in somehow, whether he wants it to be or not. Does Betty eventually make her way over to Janet's as well?
Yeah, Betty will.
Leon would arrive first. He had the car. He wasn't walking. And Janet, I imagine, your day kind of got started late. By the time you're just done
I would be just putting the like final hymns for him to try stuff on, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah. So we'll see as you're like probably putting the last bits of the suit on David. Is there any conversation between you and David you'd want to have? Or did we just open with you can hear the rumbling of the car far, far away?
So the truth is, honey, everybody needs 2 outfits, okay? One to impress and one to de-stress.
Okay.
Okay. So I went the extra mile and I got you a little bit of both. All right.
As she says that, you can hear a block out.
Oh God.
But kind of like moving. Very familiar.
Just ignore that. Just don't even think. Don't even think about it. So I've hung them up in the dressing room right over here. I want you to just take some time, put on what you want, and if you don't like it, that's okay. We could start over. No problems. Yeah.
Okay. I will try.
I have 0 doubt you'll nail it, kid. You'll nail it.
And you get up, you're probably like, fuck, here comes goddamn Leon. That's fine.
I immediately go over and make sure the open sign is off. So the door doesn't look open.
Well, actually, as you go to leave the tailoring room, as you open the door, it's yanked from your hand. It slips from your hand. The door actually slams shut on its own as you go to open it. You open it a second time, wham, it slams shut again. And then it's on the third time that you open it, and it stays open this time. As you go to leave the room, where David would see that too. Wow. Obviously, she opens the door, and then just like immediate closure, a very loud slam. The door opens again. It slams shut. Third time, it stays open.
Oh, look at that. Somebody finished having a temper tantrum. Okay, I'm going to leave you to it, kid. I'll be right back to check on you. Just let me know if you need some help, okay? I made special holes in one for your wings, yeah?
I will try that first.
Whatever makes you happy. And I kind of eke the door closes. I turn around to probably see Leon's car pulling up.
Yeah. Or Leon walking into the front door, up to the front door if he parked like a block
it's
away.
After hours. We are closed.
Leon, that's what you get when the door opens. You're muted, though. I can't hear you.
After hours is our hours.
Well, lock it behind you, would ya?
Of course.
Door shuts. It's locked behind you. As you kind of settle in...
So
I imagine
I like meet him at the door before he gets too far back to like where David's having a moment. I'm like, look, David's trying on some fresh studs, huh? So why don't you have a seat and just be nice?
I'm always nice.
I know that. Just have a seat. God damn it.
It isn't long as you settle her down, you could hear the rattling of a nearby shopping cart as Betty herself makes her way up and in. And as you walk in, Betty, you would actually see, because I imagine maybe Janet walked away for a moment, you'd see Leon. Actually, he's here. Oh, thank God, you were right. He's here.
Just the kindred I was looking for.
Oh, God.
The door opens as Betty walks in, and Leon says that to Betty directly.
If Betty gets in there, she's gonna push her cart in there, not just like to the first area where she always leaves it, Janet. And she just says,
"Right, good. Everyone's here. Makes it easier."
You were busy yesterday, obviously, Janet. There was a dinner you had to deal with, and then you took care of everybody. It hasn't been a time to get together. You weren't informed of any crime scene because murders happen all the goddamn time. So whatever, who gives a fuck?
Do I see Leon?
Leon's the first person you see. He's sitting down in the front room as you walk in, just as Janet is actually leaving the room.
Here, I'll post the map of the of
the
store too. Why not? Yeah, I got that too.
Betty just kind of gets right in, like does not even like worry about anybody else. Like looks straight at Leon and says,
"Leon, eyes up. So that little favor you asked for, can you look into the woman blackmailing me thing? Yeah, well, I did. Welcome, and now I'm calling in that boon. Minor, sure, but I want it now."
Okay, well, I was going to bring you something, but that can wait for another time. What do you want?
All right, well, let me walk you through the circus act, shall we? Purple's the password. Yes, a real cloak and dagger type of thing. They had this whole thing wrapped in a Caesar cipher. You know, the 12-year-old hacker laugh type of thing. Anyways, it unlocked some information. Alicia Fellweather, some kind of ghoul. Pretty Ventru.
No, let's
not Janet's crew. Someone higher. Really. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately for us, not a console seat per se. Anyways, got a picture, and she like shoves her hand into her cart, pulls out an image, like some kind of paper, and then just like hands it to you.
I would grab it and read it.
It's just a picture,
like
a more clearer picture.
Yeah.
It's like a blurry picture.
Words, at least.
Yeah.
It looks like someone's like. It looks bad. It's a horrible picture, but at least it gives you like the image of who she is.
Okay.
And then she just starts going on. She looks kind of out. Janet, is David in there? David's not there.
No, David's still
David's
in
the dressing room, but that is technically nearby. It's not a huge shop.
Yeah.
Gotcha. She kind of looks over at Janet, and then
Leon just seemed very confused right now.
No, he's actually following along.
Okay, cool.
He's like focused.
Hold on. I gotta make sure. I think I gave you all the information. Yes. Okay. And I gave you the picture. Perfect. Then she kind of pulls out a cigarette and lights it, and then she goes,
"That's not even the worst part. Anyways, I saw someone else.
It's a suit shop."
Janet walks back in.
That's alpaca wool.
She sucks on it really hard in front of her, and then just blows like 4 circles.
I come behind her with like some air freshener.
And then just continues to ramble on. And she's just like,
"There's some kind of FBI involved. Some Helen Ramsey. Clean badge, cold stare. She's some kind. I've seen her before. She was talking to some kind of ghoul. I think his name is William. Yes, William."
And Leon goes, "Does she look like this?" And you pull out the picture, the screenshot you were able to snag.
I get the screenshot. She looked like
what he provides you is a body cam screenshot of last night's events. The moment, it looks like one of the early moments where the FBI agent arrived. It's very pixelated, low resolution, but it is
That's
the same
her.
person.
Yes. Oh, yes. That's the one. But you can smell Ventru off of her from a block away.
Because it's in Ventru territory. This is all in Ventru territory. Of course, the Ventru.
David, you're probably walking out at this moment as the suits fit. Janet, you watch these two individuals just walk into your home, sit down, start mentioning not only FBI agents, but the actual name of the FBI agents connected to a potential ventral ghoul in territory that you yourself.
He walks past, goes and sits down in one of those chairs past the clothing rack and sits down. She's still waving the cigarette around, takes another big puff and says, I found Mutt today.
No,
He's dead.
No.
Popped up under the tag like a street art crime scene.
No, I would like us to stop talking about that.
And that's his name. That's his name, Leon, the dead guy. Oh, Mutt. Okay, got it.
I would like to focus on David for a second.
David's stepping out and he's like,
so actually David's not in like probably the suit like you imagine. No tie, no heavy broad-shouldered, slim cut. Janet went a different direction. So the question is, did you dress to impress or did you dress for stress? To de-stress, I should say.
I think David was most interested in the coat that you were making, the
she
long
actually
style
made
coat.
you a coat for both. So
Okay. Let's go with that like that Sherlock Holmes style dress.
okay, so you dress to impress. So the outfit on one side was not like a button up with a high dense collar because she got the idea maybe a smidge claustrophobic. So she went for something that was a little more here, actually let's do this. I'm gonna share it in chat with y'all first and then I will share it to the Discord, I swear. A more kind of like drape front, what we might consider elegant, and she put you the jacket, not the jacket, but the clothes in white. So she took that linen that you like so much, that soft linen, and she did something that's a little bit more drape front. This is another good one that shows kind of, and maybe it ties, but there are well-stitched, supported holes in the back that your wings fit through so they can fit tight to the body. So that then it is underneath a more, I'm going to have to go to my phone for this one. I've thought a lot about this, y'all. I've thought a lot about how to do
I love that.
Yeah, I have. Oh, I know how I can share it with y'all. Hang on. A nice trench, but not a trench coat in like there are armholes and it fits really tight. It's actually like a trench cloak almost, where it buttons kind of here at the neck, but it drapes open. The arms don't actually have like holes as we would imagine them. So for example, I will copy this to all of you like this, where you could add a nice chain if he was feeling it, but it still has a collar. It looks like a coat, but the wings in no way, shape, or form are like confined.
God, I'm feeling like a Malfoy over here. Holy.
Yeah. That's basically it. Now, she did not do black. Because you're wearing like light color, she probably did a tan or something that is a little bit more like, wearable throughout the year. This is another great example of it. And there's nice buttons on it that kind of give it an edge of class, but like it's not flashy, and neither does it make you look like you're trying too hard. It's like just enough. And there's maybe a well-fitted pair of like linen or khaki pants or something to go with it. But with this cloak, you technically don't have to wear pants, which was kind of the point. So David could pick and choose the layers on his dress to impress. And I look at you look so handsome. And she chose light colors because your skin is stone. And if you wear white, your skin looks like it has more color, more flush. Look at, he's got a little color in his cheeks.
David's like, he's kind of touching his fingers are running along the seams. He seems like he's like deliberately pausing carefully to touch the stitched like slits.
Yeah.
And like where the wings can protrude from the area that makes it comfortable for him. So, his eyes are like kind of flickering for this. He's watching everybody's like how they're responding to it, but you can see that he's posing for himself because there are mirrors everywhere. Yeah. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Right?
This end of the hallway has like block 3-sided. Like that's the point for you to be able to see it. Yeah.
He seems to like shift. And he does the extension of his wings, not in full, but to see how they kind of like plume outward, just to see how the fabric folds naturally around him.
Right down the middle, right? Because it's actually clipped around the neck, so it folds between the wings, so that when you drop him, it's a cape technically.
Yeah,
it's just a dress cape, very fancy, but a dress cape.
He turns slowly, like looking at himself, but you don't see him like he's not really smiling, right? Like not exactly, but there's something very open in his face. Something like deeply seen, and there's a pause after like he's looking in the mirror, but he's looking at you in the mirror, and then he turns and he's kind of looks down then back up at you.
You made room for all of me.
And the wings come outward, like in full.
Oh, well, that was kind of the point, honey. Didn't I tell you clothes are supposed to fit the body, not the other way around?
Speaking of bodies, crime scene tape all around his feet. His body was slumped there against the wall like some kind of joke.
We got one more. We got one more for you to go try on, David. And then we'll go take that walk we talked about.
Thank you. These do not make me feel caged. I think I like
they don't.
this.
They make you feel free. Fashion can be freeing.
This is much better than the jeans and the Smash Mouth shirt.
Yes, well, that's because they're not wearing last decade's grime, sweetheart. Come on.
You're looking good.
He gets ushered off as we see the smoke trailing up from the end of the butt of the cigarette. That's basically all gone after a couple of drags.
Okay, you twos. All right. Here's what I got. We can have this conversation, but we're going to have it in some code words. You see what I'm saying? Because you might say that my day job requires me to not incriminate myself.
And I imagine this might be true for everybody, but to kind of like bring it back to character thoughts, is this something even fucking Janet wants? Like, why do you give a shit about any of these things? Why are we messing with, I mean, you brought it up before, but again, more messing with the job that you've already done. You handed it over. The body is gone.
I have put out an important important contact that I hope can answer some questions about this here. Ventru Ghoul, you seem very, very interested. As for the crime scene, that is not our department. You see what I'm saying? I'm Italian. The Popo are Irish. We don't mix. And more importantly, it's in Ventru territory. Do you know who the Primogen is?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. we don't want to dip too deep.
Betty's just inhaling vigilantly, and she looks angry. And she stands up and she just says,
"As for you,
Janet, this was not a mistake. This was clean. It was public. It was intentional. It was a message to me."
Okay.
Wait, to you?
Yes.
Yeah, Mutt was the friend, right?
And he was killed under her graffiti marker.
Right under my jar. Right under my jar.
Okay. And I believe you. Justice will be served. I just would like to do it in a way that doesn't draw more attention, because whoever did it is clearly trying to draw attention to it, and the more attention we give it, maybe it's feeding what they want. We gotta play this smart.
And as you say, like, the more attention we give it, that's probably, as you finish that sentence, this is when David walks out with his second suit.
Now this one is to de-stress, and she puts you in a very comfortable, probably like high cotton or either bamboo, like we're talking really high quality, what we would consider cozies. So you get kind of an oversized cardigan to fit your wings under, but you get this kind of matching. It doesn't have to be black. Maybe we picked whatever color you wanted from the fabric, but it's just like, it's comfy pants, it's comfy top, it's comfy robe type cardigan thing that's stylish. And it's just an everyday wear, so you don't have to draw too much attention.
I'm looking at the photos in the chat. Not I don't know if the other people can see it, but players is in the chat.
Yeah, I did put in the Discord too.
David spins. He feels comfy.
He does. I think David, he likes it. He raises his arms. He seems to stretch. There's like no tightness. It's not binding, and that's what you can see is he's really kind of testing the limits of the clothing.
Like a lunge or two.
Oh yeah. He's like pistol squats, right? Like he's
I imagine this
he's
one,
in there
because of the fabric. It probably has two has two cuts in the back that make it pleated, right? Like a men's suit coat, even though it's a softer fabric. So that again, when you expand the wings, it almost flaps down the middle and either side. So the wings themselves are covered when you're walking, but not when you need to fly, and nothing gets torn or ripped or broken.
You can see that he kind of stands a bit straighter, right? Like not necessarily taller, but just more confident and like himself. And he kind of like walks up to you with his hands in front of him. He wants to appear small, so the hands are almost in like an offering, and
it doesn't ask me to be something else, and it fits very nicely. no one has given me a gift yet before, Janet. How would you like me to show gratitude?
Well, honey, that's a great question. You're only a few days old. Every kid fresh out the womb at least gets some clothing, so consider it like a rite of passage, okay? You could show some gratitude right now by having a seat and chatting with us about some problems that are taking place in our general area. We, over the last 2 days, have discussed the fact that you would like to be integrated into kindred society in some way, shape, or form, and having some general understanding of problems and politics would do you some good.
I understand.
Okay. The discussion on the table right now is the fact that Betty's friend was killed publicly, openly on a block nearby her, we'll call it her mark, her graffiti. What do you call it, Betty?
Betty's like not even paying attention to what's going on with David and Janet,
and her second cigarette out,
and has leaned into where Leon is, and she quietly says,
"They knew it was my symbol. They knew he mattered to me, and they made sure I would find him. I need names. I need to know who's pulling the strings and who cut.
That's what I'm trying. Gotta find that out for you. You know what? I go behind the counter and I pull probably a very expensive bottle of alcohol that I only break out for like top tier customers, right? And I go, you know what? If you'll put that cigarette out, you can have this.
She takes out the lighter and lights the cigarette that's already lit.
Leave it
and just sucks the rest of it.
I think
the losing battle, Janet.
I understand. You win some, you lose some. Kid,
is Leon notably nervous about this stuff? I mean, he has a history with the FBI prior to the game, obviously. A pretty intense history with the FBI, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah. So I think the interesting thing here is that now that there's a puzzle to solve, like, he is paying attention, but he is not looking at anyone. And he is not as nervous as perhaps he probably would be otherwise.
No need. I don't want to maybe put any would be, should be in Leon's mind.
Let me look at this.
Janet, as you whip around,
let me look at this.
You're like, it's almost like you're trying to manage chaos in this moment. You have David, who's
and she does feel bad for Betty. She just doesn't have a good answer. Some things take time, but
No, but there's just to paint the scene, we've got Janet kind of looking over at David, who is still, being like naive but impressed with the suit and wants to be grateful. As we spin on the seats near the mirrors, we see, Betty taking another drag as she's leaning into Leon, talking about names of the FBI and like, oh, they're personally taking a hit on me. And as you look over Leon, who you've known to be pretty secure or careful, is very engaged in the conversation. And while you, Janet, and maybe everybody doesn't really have all the puzzle pieces together, and yet the two of them seem keen on exploring something that, again, should be over and done with at this point. Regardless, that's the scene that Janet kind of finds herself in, of this two different dichotomies of David in the suit and these two talking about things that are dangerous to some to talk about. I'm just curious how you move from here.
Oh, okay. I have pulled the strings that I can pull.
Gotta wait.
That being said, Betty, I'm gonna try a different tactic. Do you a solid. And she kind of snaps her fingers, and almost out of nowhere pop the twins, right?
Yeah.
Or at least
Always
one of them.
ready.
They're on shift at least tonight. Last night they both had to work because of the dinner party. And she says, "Go wake your brother. I got a job for you twos."
Just nods and leaves without hesitation.
Last night I had a
Gone a
dinner
couple
party.
minutes.
I put a bug in the ear of a couple of the heads of the families of, the family, and asked them to look into those crates that came through. It seemed odd to me that both crates, the one...
You're Italian, you said, right?
Yeah, yep.
You call the family La Cosa Nostra.
Okay, well...
It's the term for mafia. It also means our thing. It's
right,
like,
yeah, okay. Regardless if y'all understand, the point of the matter is we've got some connections. That is our docks. We run those waters. Well, I don't. They do. We do. the point of the matter is I was confused that both boxes of interesting cargo, both David and whatever it was that y'all's dropped off, came in this
Almost
same
internally,
freight.
David, when she goes David and, you just immediately go Goliath. Like in your head. It doesn't, you don't say it out loud, but it's almost like an autocomplete.
They came in the same crate. Both of them had something to do with the kindred of this city, regardless of their actual purpose or, unfortunately, use. I'm sorry, David. Don't mean the other you. So what I wanted to know is who owns the bigger freight. Because to get those boxes in, they had to pay somebody. That's how business works, right? You buy a piece of the cargo. So I put in a word to see if I could figure out whose name was on the larger cargo freight, shipping both them boxes and more in. All right? So just everybody calm down. I should know something hopefully very soon. That being said, I'm going to send the boys out. I'm going to go let them do what they do best and work the streets. See if they can find out more information about what went down and who saw what down there on the south side of Entry Territory. Yeah. And we'll try to get you some more information, Betty, so that we can figure out who did this to your friend and they can serve the justice they deserve.
Betty just sits back and finishes it. And she just like kind of looks at Janet in a way that is like unsure of if what you're trying to do is actually going to accomplish it.
That's okay. It's a start, right? Insanity's doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. So both of yous tried your hand. Let me try mine. Mine just doesn't work as fast as yours. I'll send the boys out there, see if they can find something out.
Well, I mean, I've got a pretty good stab at it. I've got some questions first, though. So, your friend, dead on the street. You're saying this body was disposed of? He says like a closed matter. What were you doing with it?
You talking to Betty?
I was talking to Janet.
Oh. I don't know nothing about a dead body. This is the first time I heard of it when y'all came shouting at the rooftops.
What were you on about? The matter's supposed to be closed? What was that?
All of this. I'm still trying to figure out why we care.
Oh. That's fine. So,
and I know your life's on the line or whatever, and I was working on that. I thought you were supposed to be laying low, and here you come through my door telling me you got new information on a dead body found on the street. That's not low. No.
This isn't just some dead body,
I'm sorry.
Janet.
Mutt's body
This
on
is
the
Mutt.
street. Mutt's body on the street. You're telling me you're not laying low.
I could feel him, Janet. There was vengeance in my blood.
Well, we're gonna get you that vengeance, Betty. Can you? I know a thing or two about organized crime, so I got a question for you. Who might want you dead, Betty?
Probably a lot of people want me dead.
Okay, well...
Most people don't want me on their corner. I don't think you want me here either.
Can I ask you a personal question?
When do you not?
Okay. The message, but that's what he did. He picked up and delivered messages, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Okay. Then why was Mutt seeking out your tag or whatever tonight? Was it for information? Was it to deliver something?
Well, Janet, wouldn't I like to know if he was alive? Maybe I could find that out.
Oh, well, this is still
he's
information.
Dead, and therefore he cannot tell me what he was looking for.
Which tells me
you do know the last thing he did was that job directly tied to
the last thing he did do,
and then Betty looks straight back at Leon,
is get me that damn stick.
What stick?
The one that had the purple code.
By the Capital Kings for?
See, no, I don't know this part. I just know he got shot.
I thought that was last week. I thought
that because I did share that information with you.
Well, you shared it with me in your Betty way.
Okay.
Yes, of course. You might not understand what Betty was saying.
Right.
By the
So,
Capital Kings.
Okay, so the information that David took a bullet for is you handed off to him?
No. Well, so he went to get that information from me so that I could give it to Leon. But before he could give it to me, it got stolen by these capital kings, which we handled, and then we took it back. And then this whole thing happened.
So who was supposed to end up with the information? You, Betty? And he was just the courier.
It was for me.
He got the information. So yeah, Betty put out the feels like you did, but to her street people. She, from one of her regular contacts, Mutt, said, the guy said, I got what you need. But on his way to giving it to her, he got jumped by the Capital Kings. They went and dealed with it, got the information back. They parted ways. Mutt went on his way. Then that night, she saw Mutt dead under her symbol.
But I love that Jen is confused because
but she
Betty's
doesn't know where Mutt got
the
information from because that's not part of the deal. You don't say where you got your info from.
Right, but that doesn't mean he doesn't know what was on the stick. You see, if that information's important, which I'm guessing, by the way, you have now, Betty, it's yours. You brought the ticking time bomb under.
You know the information too. It's all about that Alicia person.
Nope, I don't care who it's about. That's not the point. I'm just trying to help you here in this moment.
Alicia Bellwether.
We're not.
That
No,
one.
I didn't hear that name.
That was the name you did recognize too as a ghoul of Ventrue.
Yep, that's why I do not recognize it in this moment. Talking about criminal activity within Ventrue territory, I don't hear that name. What I do hear is that he probably knew the same information we do, and was promptly offed because of it.
Well, he didn't know what the information was, Janet. Because if he had known it, he would have just told it to me instead of making me go hunt it down at the Capital Kings.
Who else does Mutt work for?
Mutt's like Betty.
Everyone, Janet. Whoever's going to give him the most money or whatever thing he needs at the time.
I'd like to get specific.
Look, that's why Mutt and I, we had a bond, right? We're both stinking, half-cracked. We have our own feral, twitchy ways about us. But we get things done.
Clearly.
I think I figured out who did it. I think I figured out who did it.
Well, cover it up, Leon.
No names.
Then
you can whisper it to me then. Oh, Betty will mosey on over.
If this has gone the way I think it has, then you have a problem with Beryl Underwood.
Beryl Underwood?
Only David would not know that name.
I know you didn't say that name. I know you code words. That was the start of this conversation. The one deal, the dealio.
Betty says the name. She says it out loud.
It's like Beryl Underwood, the Ventrue Primogen.
We're even?
No, we're not
even.
You just incriminated
Betty says we're even.
I whispered it.
You're currently standing in their territory. And you're actively, plotting against them?
Oh.
Yep.
No, I'm just...
Two pieces of a different puzzle. Leon might not be wrong here. So let's put it to, let me just, for the listeners who it's maybe a lot. There was a shipment, two things. David was one shipment, another was another shipment. That was what Betty was there for, to make sure that got handed off, which was, as far as you know, a body carrying Tremere's secrets. You hung around, Leon and Betty, and found out that a Tremere, Ventrue ghoul came and drove it away in an unmarked van that you left it.
They did not peep what was inside of it.
No one peeped what was inside, but Betty knew what was inside because that was part of the job. She needed to know how valuable this was and why it was important it got there without anybody, fucking with it. That gets taken away. That's done. You now know that there was also others who were interested in it, and that this guy had the name of the ghoul, the actual ghoul who took it. Messenger, maybe killed, could be from them. Now, why the FBI, who would be tied directly to Beryl Underwood, would be interested in this hit if the message came from Beryl Underwood would make no sense.
It didn't come from Beryl. That's ridiculous.
So Beryl may be interested in this because the FBI is there and he may know something about Mutt or have heard of Mutt. I'm not saying he does, but I'm just saying I think your characters are smart enough to know that they're not the same
let's just
on the opposite side.
Yeah, let's just look at this from the opposite direction. We want to throw the Ventrue Primogen under the bus. You use two couriers, Betty and Mutt, as fall guys in the midst of trying to incriminate him. But I don't think Underwood did it. Why would you bring that kind of heat to your own neighborhood? Carrying information that's protecting a box you didn't even want opened. That doesn't make any sense. This is somebody else that's working against Underwood.
But Underwood still wants that box.
Of course he does. It sounds like they both want the
Well,
box.
then maybe we need to figure out who would want them.
No, the point is we don't need to figure out nothing. This is not our fight.
Oh, it's my fight now, Janet.
Well,
I promised Mutt with that dying spirit of his that I will figure out what is happening here and I will avenge his death.
Wait, I'd like to. Can I make you a deal? Can I make you a deal?
I don't know. It'd have to be a pretty good deal.
It's all for Mutt. I promise. What if we don't go, running back into the streets and stirring the pot right away? We take a couple nights and we wait for Elspeth to return. Because David, what does Elspeth do?
Elspeth speaks with Oblivion.
Elspeth talks to the dead. What if she
Well, I don't know if she'll want to talk to Mutt, but
she may not.
she can have a little conversation with him. Maybe we can hear it straight from his mouth.
Right. What I'm going to do is put in some calls. I imagine the body's got to be taken to a morgue somewhere here in town. Has he had anything to identify him, this Mutt, or is he going to be, a John Doe?
You're actually not sure. No idea if he would be identified. He'd probably be identified because he's not a kindred like you, so he probably has a mortal record still.
He's not like us. Oh, maybe.
All right.
But they had him surrounded pretty yellow tape, everywhere.
You'll say you felt his...
like a present wrapped up.
One quick question. Did Alicia Fellwether work for Beryl Underwood?
Oh, I don't know
for
that.
certain that she does not.
She does not.
Mm-mm.
Alicia Fellwether?
Right.
Oh, yeah, no. I don't believe she is associated with the council.
No,
at least not from
I'm
what
actually
we
trying
know.
to get some information, about
That's
her.
that's what Janet's actually trying to figure out exactly who
she is and who she works for. But that may take some time. It's, good information doesn't pop up out of nowhere. I'm sure at least you understand that much better.
But that would tell you that it wasn't Beryl who that package
it wasn't
was
Beryl
meant
that
for.
was after the
wasn't
container,
Beryl.
which means it's also not Beryl that's threatening your life. And can we please call him Mr. Underwood? He's a primogen, for Christ's sake.
Gets respect when he earns respect.
Well, why hasn't he earned your respect? He's the primogen of this fucking city. He's clearly under attack just as much as you are. His reputation's just as much at stake, and he's not threatening your life. What you got against the man? Woman. Is it a woman? Man?
Beryl is a man.
Thank you. Man?
You know what? You're right.
If you
Maybe
got a
we should
bone
dig
to
up
pick,
a
we
little
pick
bit.
it with the right people, and we stay
I'm not trying to
focused.
pick a fight with a Mr. Underwood. But
that
we
would make
should
me
talk to
very
him.
happy.
The only reason you think Underwood is involved is because the FBI showed up. And the FBI showing up usually indicates that he's probably involved in some way because he recognized the face of the member in the FBI who's under his
That
thumb.
being said, if the FBI, maybe they showed up to clean up a masquerade breach, clean the scene. But that doesn't mean it's totally
Didn't
clean.
look like there was anyone torn throats out. So, I'm just saying, if there's someone working against Mr. Underwood, I would like to know what
Does
Mr.
David just
Underwood
walk
would
out?
pay.
At mid-conversation, David, because, it's not a big room, David
Nope.
just leaves.
Oh, there he goes. Okay, I promised David a walk tonight, in his new duds. Why don't you both join us, and maybe we can have a quaint conversation continuing this, but I would, can we just wait until Elspeth returns? You said his spirit, you felt it leave his body, maybe it's still there, she can contact it, you got
What are we going to learn from Mutt?
Mutt may be able to tell us who fucking killed him. What do you mean? I'm going after David. You can't walk the street right.
When Janet goes after David, I think Betty just kind of leans in and says,
I'd never liked cages. They build gilded cages. Call it society.
and she just,
As Janet,
And Leon just gives like a, you're damn right.
We got a bunch of rebels on our hand that are like, we're anarchists. We don't know why. Damn the man!
As you run out the door, you actually catch him as he's like, I'm assuming you're going out. Are you thinking about your wings being even like a thing for people to see, or are you still not even thinking about that, David?
It's not even a consideration. He realizes that he probably has to move to a space where there are less eyes.
Sure.
So
you
an
walk
alley
around.
is probably the
You
best.
actually see him walking, getting ready to turn near an alleyway.
Hey, honey,
somewhere
where
nearby.
you going? And I'll
David,
follow
you hear
him.
the hurried steps and Janet's voice behind.
And he would probably turn and look to her. And David would he would probably say in this moment, I don't know what to say that makes this less, but I think I can help.
Okay.
I can carry and I can dig, or I can move with what I have.
Yes, absolutely. Why don't we take that walk? Not down a scary alleyway. Maybe out for the night, and we could talk about best ways to maybe help them.
Why would we walk when I can fly?
Well,
It's
honey,
you can see his cape almost ripple as
because
he says fly, and his wings
unfortunately,
almost.
I can't fly. Betty, Leon, they can't fly. In fact, nobody around here can fly. And remember, we was talking about that masquerade. One of the things is about not being known, because nobody else has wings, and because you're so unique, it might be off-putting to some, and considerably break that masquerade we so want to keep locked tight.
I understand.
But
But Betty likes her cart, and Leon likes to drive his loud van. And I think that some night air would do you good too.
oh, that's why I want to take a walk, honey. Don't you think if I could fly, I would? But I can't. So why don't we take a walk? Because I thought we'd go somewhere where maybe you can spread your wings.
But I could carry you, and you could fly with me.
Oh,
Does
that's
David just walk up
very.
to her and
That's,
like pick her
that's
up?
very kind, honey. I actually have a thing about flying. It's not really my vibe. I would prefer a fresh air walk. Would you like to walk with me? I'd like to show you something.
You have been very kind, and you have been taking care of me and showing me many things.
Mm-hmm.
But you have not let me show you the gratitude that I can offer.
I see. So the airlift is part of the gratitude. Oh, I get it. Honey, I get it.
David moves up and he hugs you.
Oh.
It's a very slow hug. But he goes under your arms so that you can go around his neck.
Oh, okay.
And then you hear the puff of the wings, the snapping of like the leather of his wings.
Oh,
And
Up
he
you go.
puts a hand behind your back and another around like your waist and probably leg, and he takes flight.
yep. This is
As he just,
personal.
you know,
I
the
didn't
wings
even grab
flap.
my purse. I didn't even get the boys the assignment. Okay.
Go
Yeah.
ahead and make me a strength athletics check, not to
Yeah.
not be able to hold her, but how smoothly you are going to fly with her, as
Sure.
you're just not quite graceful yourself yet.
Sure,
And I just
I'm-
imagine David not saying it in a sing-song way, but in his own naive way. He's like, but I can show you the world. And he just takes off. Yes, I don't have the game open. Tell me what you rolled. Sorry, I lost.
Now I want to see.
I got
Rouse.
5 successes.
5 successes.
Jeez.
It's a little like I would say ungraceful, but not unsecure. And as he holds you tight, and you have your arms around his neck with one flap, the ground immediately leaves you about
Oh.
2 feet behind.
Yep.
With another one, it's even more now, another 6 feet, and with each one higher and higher
Yeah,
you
let's
go.
not get too high.
Is Janet nervous? Is she afraid of heights? Is she ever?
Yeah, she
afraid of
doesn't like to fly. She just told him that.
heights? Are you closing your eyes? Is she just like?
Yeah, it's more
"Oh,
of like
fuck."
it's kind of like, honey, let's just stay within the fog, Leia, so people can't see us. And she kind of just consistently the whole time is like backseat flying while he,
With her eyes closed at the same time, backseat flying while her eyes are
Yeah,
closed.
yeah, absolutely.
I imagine Leon and Betty are just see them take off into the air.
You probably
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
Janet like, fuck.
You probably see through the window, a glimpse through the window as you're like, oh, there they go. Now I know
They
you said,
said we're
Betty, you
going
and
for a
Leon,
walk.
you wanted some opportunity to speak with Leon alone. Do you still need that, or was that all? taken care
No.
of? Okay.
Yeah.
So as they fly off, Betty and our camera lingers.
But we can
with the
totally
two
have
of
a
you.
scene alone if Leon has anything he wants to share.
Yeah, Leon, you hear it as much as you see it through the window as well. Very quickly, you just hear Janet's wavering voice. Oh God! And she like disappears up into the sky.
Bessie, unrelated to any of this, have you seen a man just kind of popping up around?
Many men popping up around.
Are
What
you more-
man in particular are you looking for, dear Leon?
Do I have a good description of the guy I saw outside of the van
It's hard
when we were driving back?
It's
Or
hard
no?
to describe somebody you keep only catching momentary glimpses of, and like weird sightings of that are not very definitive. But if you can explain that, and because I think bizarrely and maybe unexpectedly, Betty will recognize what you're describing because something happened to
that's
her
true.
last episode that you weren't there for, the episode before that.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So she's like, "Can you describe
It's
many men?
hard.
Describe them." Like, what do you say?
well, it's hard to describe him. Even he appears sometime in the corner of my eye,
And out of
I just
curiosity, why does Leon ask Betty this of all people?
because I think he trusts her to know when he is able to.
Does she know
when
what
he's
your
trying-
does she know your clan? Does everybody know your clan or no?
I think at this point everyone knows his clan.
Okay, gotcha.
He's
Well, I mean,
trying to
Betty's
discern
around us.
truth.
She knows delusions at least, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why.
I'm a little delusional.
So yeah, so you're trying to explain
Exactly.
to her like, not like one define one, but it just like when I'm
just
not
trying to figure
looking, I
out.
see it.
Yeah. It's out of the corner of my eye. It appears. He appears. Disappears. And I'm trying to figure out.
What does he look like? Is he tall? Is he fat? Is he short? Does he have strange teeth? Does he have a certain eye color? Wears something in particular? I need a little more detail, my dear.
Yeah. No, he has all of those things. I just don't know what they are.
And as he tries to describe it, honestly, Betty, it's similar, if not really exact, to the weird figure you saw when you went into Marcus's place. Where you saw that
The one that was
glimpse of
peering
an
at me?
individual. Yeah, the one that was peering at you that you didn't get details of, that you looked at, saw, and then it was gone. He's describing
Wait.
similar events, not exactly the same, but he sees something, he looks at it, and it's gone. He sees somebody, he looks at it, and it's gone.
Perhaps I've seen something like that. Where are you seeing these things often?
Saw her in the car on the car ride on the way home from the meetup where we dropped off the box. And then I just assumed that it was another person I'd invented.
You're
But then I
inventing
got an-
people now. I
Not
do
just
like
now.
inventing a person here and there.
I don't really have much control over it, but it's gotten worse recently. But I think the thing is, I then got an email with some photos of us attached. And I don't know if those two are connected, but can't think of anyone else that was able to follow that car.
It reminds me of something. You see, I went back to find Marcus a couple times. Once to, offer some assistance, and the other to see if he was still there. But he wasn't. Something was there, watching me.
And she just starts smiling and she's like staring off into space. Like she's like remembering the moment when she like grinned back at it. So she's like grinning with that same grin. It's a little
Almost
creepy.
grinning at the memory of it, and maybe like as though it can see you still.
Yeah.
Well, that's enough for me to know that it's real. So thanks.
Why do you want to make sure it's real?
I've seen other things that have told me all sorts of crazy stories. Not real.
Any stories worth telling?
Nothing I want to repeat.
Those are the best stories.
I do wonder if the first time Leon met Betty, if he thought he thought Betty was not necessarily real.
It kind of makes sense. Were you turned when we first met?
Yes. But I don't
Yeah.
think you realized. I
didn't,
wasn't
but I
taking
knew
the
there was-
donuts for myself.
It was a pretty good cover story, though. I believed it. It
I
was
can be believable when I need to be.
when you're
Although
compelling.
even when people don't believe me, they just still let me do whatever it is that I'm doing.
Yeah. You scare them. Not in a
What were you doing there?
terrifying way. What was I doing? Just trying to get my head straight.
Mm-mm.
I was trying to tell what reality was. And there was something strange about you. I could tell. But
But
I
you
just
weren't.
It was,
You were immortal then.
yeah, I was.
Smell it in your blood.
I'm sure I smelled of all sorts of things back then. I wasn't in a good place.
Delicious.
Well, I'm glad you think so. It was, it took a while to get back to reality. I was,
Are you sure you are still in reality?
Probably a moment where Leon even questions that internally, a beat of silence. And when you do, and you look over, there's those two mirrors that are in the dressing room. And as you look over to it, because you're both sitting down, you see your reflection in both, but there's something different about each one. You blink maybe a couple times to see if it's really what you think you're seeing, and maybe even continue conversation with Betty as though you don't typically know, or you're not paying too much attention to it. But what's fascinating about them is while they both mimic you perfectly, they are mirror images of you, of course. One of them looks as you are now, and one of them has their left hand covered in blood.
you know, dead things. You're not talking about trying to talk to ghosts, insisting that magic is real. You know what? I'm not sure.
Oh, but magic
When you
is
say you're
real.
not sure, the bloody hand vanishes, and it looks back to being just you like glance over away, like probably glancing back and forth as you converse. And this time it's back to just being a normal reflection.
But magic is real, Leon.
I'll believe that when I see it.
Betty would like to make an illusion for Leon.
Sure. Give me a rouse check and tell me what you want to do, and he'll have to make a roll, I think.
Ooh, I'm hungry again. But it's worth
Yeah.
it.
Hunger 3 though is still controllable, so you're all right.
I'm going to. What do I want to create for him?
Which abilities that you're using again?
I'm going to use chemistry. I'll share it here. I think she kind of puts her hand in her jacket, pulls out a deck of cards, and opens it, and hands him a card. Random, pick a random card that you would think
he
of.
picks out the two of clubs.
Yeah. She says,
Hold on to that a moment.
she closes the deck, puts it back in her pocket. And while she's doing that, like while she's in the midst of doing that, she's changing the card in his hand. exactly.
Yeah, you pick out the card. It's 2 of clubs, and what do you? She puts it away. You're probably making eye contact with him, and what do you say? Look at your card again. Do you say what is a?
Yeah, I think she says, "Now look at it again," and instead it's a mirror, like a pocket mirror.
Ooh, interesting. Do you? I will allow the option for Leon. Do you want to make it a resist roll? Is that something that you think he would be trying to see him resist, or do you think?
No.
No.
He's feeling quite skeptical at the moment, so I think actually he would.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Manipulation, obfuscate from you, please, Maggie, versus your wits composure.
Wits composure.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Manipulation, obfuscate. I have to hit this.
Oh, all you need is 1 success, Maggie. It's all I need out of you.
All right, 1 success. Can I do it?
You do
3.
it. Yeah. So as you kind of hold the card and you're like, yeah, 2 of clubs. She puts it away, the cards away, and she looks over to you and she's like, look at it again. And as you do, instead of holding a card, you are holding a mirror that is looking back to you. Now, is there anything before I continue? Is there anything special about the mirror you want to do with it, Betty? It's only one turn or 1 round or whatever, but it's not a big deal.
It's just a picture, like just the regular mirror.
Okay. As you look to yourself, there, you lock eyes with yourself. Just go ahead and make me a wits perception, a wits awareness rather.
okay. Oh, crit. A messy crit.
Beautiful, messy critical. All right. As you look to the mirror, you see yourself, but right behind you, just standing over your shoulder, you catch a glimpse of the eyes and the face of your own sire. Would you like to describe what that quickly looks like to those of us, because what we're seeing is like where from Betty's view you're holding a card, then we get a look at Betty's face and she's like, look at it again. And when we cut back to you, now you holding a mirror. As we swoop around and we look right next to you into the mirror, we see your face as the reflection and the face of your sire. What does does your sire look like?
It is deep, gaunt eyes, a very kind of straight down features. Like everything looks like it's been dragged down, along with very long, straight black hair draped over her shoulders, and just like a very, I suppose, spacey look to some kind of ice blue eyes.
And there's just a quick, as you hold it, the gaze feels like it's longer than 3 seconds. And as you catch the face of your sire, you see their sire emotionless, just staring cold and deadpan back at you through the mirror. Their mouth opens as though they're going to say something, dropping almost slack. And you watch her right eye twitch before it snaps to the upper right, and it's just the white of her eye. And then her other left eye begins to twitch and then snaps up to the upper left, only giving the whites of her eyes. And just as there seems to be a moment where maybe sound would be expected or something is about to happen, the entire mirror cracks and shatters. To Betty, you just see the mirror vanish because it's over. And realistically, that's what anybody else would see. As the mirror cracks and shatters into a million fragments, you blink. And maybe even you recoil.
I throw the card down.
You see him quickly like throw the nothing as it vanishes from existence. He's like,
Betty starts cackling.
I was saying to Betty, it literally looks like he got nervous when you were like, look back and he saw a mirror. He's like, oh my God, it's a mirror. You know, like that's kind of.
And Betty will lean down and pick it up and wave it again. And it's just that two of spades or whatever, or 2 of clubs. Yeah.
That was a cruel trick.
Well, that's magic.
How do you even know how my sire looks?
That was not something I had planned.
Betty looks around the room. I sense the unseen.
Sure, give it a roll. You just a free power.
Yeah, it's a free power.
I think it's what, some wits resolve or wits.
It's wits auspic or wits resolve auspic. So it depends on what.
What are you looking for? A kindred, or are you trying to look for a ghost?
Kindred. If he said it's a
so it's not. It's resolve. What is it? What are the 2?
I think resolve plus auspics.
Okay, cool.
Right.
That's what I want.
And I get a +1 to this. I don't know how to add that. Oh, I add it here. Ooh.
As you look around, with one success, it's still a success, but as you look around, no kindred that you've conveniently forgotten were there are there. If they were, that might even worry you because you're in Janet's house too, and that shit is pretty secure, but it's not like super locked down right now. But no, you're reasonably confident there's nobody else in this room. But it is interesting. I'm sure Betty finds it
Oh
fascinating.
yeah. Betty just grins as she like looks around and she doesn't see anything, and looks back at Leon and says,
Well, so that's what you saw in the mirror.
Oh, that's all on me then, is it? Right.
Maybe there's something else going on with you. Mr. Leon, you say you're seeing things, but you don't have control over them.
This is Betty reach in and just pull out a notebook and a pen. Like, Mr. Leon, tell me your symptoms.
And a pipe.
What other things have you been seeing lately?
Oh, just the normal ones. And he looks at you as if like he's deciding whether to trust you or not. I used to see spiders quite a lot.
Is that why you got your name?
Yeah, no one else knows that. One other person knows that.
So is it no one or one other person?
It's one other person. But they're not real, so it doesn't really matter. And I've learned to ignore them. People, they turn up sometimes. I used to be able to tell if they were real by looking at them through my phone. Cameras don't lie.
Yes, that's true. Most often my illusions, or what you were saying, is magic. Can't be seen with those strange boxes you all carry around.
But most recently I've seen messages. And that's kind of a new one on me.
Maybe someone's trying to tell you something.
If they are, it doesn't make sense.
Well, you see, often messages must be sent cryptically, like that stupid purple one. What a dumb password. You could pick any password. Why pick something so simple?
I mean,
maybe they wanted us to find it.
Why did I talk?
Betty starts talking to herself at that point.
yeah. It's almost like, as we have seen, she's no longer, Leon is not even part of this conversation anymore. And she starts talking to herself.
And he's going to talk to not Betty.
He's talking. I like that we're having this conversation.
It matches for both of them. They start both kind of talking to themselves and starting kind of feeling it out.
But I think if someone was there, the conversation sounds like it's a conversation between two people.
But it's really,
like it's natural.
You each just working things out to yourselves.
Yeah.
And as that begins to happen, we'll kind of fade back. And as we do, and we fade back in toward to David and Janet. Was Janet even be in her right mind to try and converse while flying?
I had plans to actually take him somewhere. I don't know that Janet knows how to get there from the sky.
Or do you tell him though? Like as he's taking off, like are you like,
I told him I had something I wanted to show him. I said that before he grabbed me and we took off. But I mean, is David flying somewhere specific? Janet would be interested where he's going.
Yes, David is flying somewhere specific.
There we go.
Is Janet like freaked? Is she like freaking out?
I mean, she's definitely not a cool cucumber.
Sure.
You can tell that there's tension there. Like she has realized this means something to you, and so she is swallowing her fear of like heights or flying or whatever it is for her to assure that you get this moment.
Okay. Mathews, is there any kind of role that I can use to calm her given my like skill set?
I mean, you're making the flight as smooth as you possibly can. Is
Sure.
your best bet. You probably just make sure that she's not getting hit by wind, where it's not like loud as fuck, where it just feels like she's rushing. You just keep her.
She's
Yeah.
certainly not
point,
dressed
the best
for
you
flying.
can. You're learning as you're going, like how can I fly, and also like maybe not make sure she's like looking down or the wind's hitting her. But yeah, I would say with your roll earlier, it's enough where the ride is smooth. You just can't stop her from realizing she's in the air.
If she trembles, if that's noticeable at all,
no, there would be no trembling. It would be fear frenzying.
Okay.
Which you wouldn't know about, but yeah.
Shift it. Basically, he's just going to try to make this as steady as possible by just saying things like, "The wind is only loud; it cannot hurt you.
Oh,
I'll tell you when we land."
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, honey. What'd you say?
That's probably the first time David smiles, like actually, legitimately, like full teeth smile.
You know, it's
just see
almost
that.
pretty from up here.
As you're gonna realize very quickly, you're leaving Boston, Jen.
Honey, you need to make a left. We got to go back. We're leaving the city limits. Where are we going?
It would also become clear after a little time. You're heading toward the Salem area.
Oh my God, we're not going back, are we?
We're going to see Annika
Why?
because Annika can help.
I had other plans.
We will not take long then.
Oh my God.
And actually, you feel the pace of his wings flapping pick up a bit as he's like, "We will not take long then."
What is she gonna say? No.
Yeah, well, yeah,
what?
you're kinda- you're going,
this
you're
far above.
going.
I've got no. I'm in for the ride now.
And you would feel the ride coming to the end because he's still not graceful with his drop. He's doing better. He's gliding down, but it's like kind of sudden, like,
It's like a moment your teenager begins to learn to drive, and you're like, and you're trying to grab for brakes that aren't there and stuff.
God. Eventually, however, that last drop with the meeting of the ground happens. And you probably landed behind the shop somewhere this time instead of like directly on the sidewalk, and landed a bit of away so you don't have people whipping out their phones again nearby. But yeah, you touch ground and you're somewhere in Salem, not too far from the Night in Bloom, or Nightshade in Bloom rather. And does Janet say anything, or is she good? Her hair might be actually a little windblown.
Yeah, I'm probably like really windblown. I'm like trying to like readjust the suit or whatever I had on that night, make sure I still have my high heels, that they weren't like lost in flight. And like, I'm just checking myself. I realize I don't have my bag, my purse. I don't have a way to call for anybody. I am at David's mercy. And I say, okay, honey, what's the play here?
And I'm assuming you just start walking to the Nightshade in Bloom?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
You probably repeat it, like, go speak with Annika. And he just like,
I think that we should speak with Annika.
Well, honey, am I going to tell you no? Maybe you should speak with Annika. I'm not sure she's very fond of me.
I imagine you're both walking. You had a business relationship with her. She didn't really hate you or anything. You just worked with her when needed.
We're just professional acquaintances,
Then that means that you have a chance to make friends with Annika.
Professional acquaintances usually means friendships off the table, honey. That's just how business works. But you know what? I'm here for you. Let's go see.
There is silence, and you just see him look kind of down.
Yeah,
and
come on,
like his eyes look down.
Annika. Yeah,
and
you're
he's
right.
like, oh, you know what, honey? I'll go
we'll
with
make
you.
friends.
The mom
Yeah, sure.
instinct.
This is like being like, Mom, but I really want to go to the punk rock concert. She's like, I guess I'm putting on black eyeliner tonight.
Exactly. You know what? We'll do it. As you walk in the front door, you see Ivy behind the counter. Her smile greets both of you. She's about to greet you like strangers, but recognizes you were only there a few nights ago. And before she can even really get her greeting out, from the back room, the door swings open. And as it does, you can see in that small back room, you actually see Annika back there watching as Elspeth herself walks out of that back room. And as she sees you and surprises you see her, we cut to black. And we'll be back next week with a brand new episode. Thank you guys for showing up. Thank you guys for being patient, as is a bit of a late start today. We'll be back next week. Leon will be MIA. However, his conversation with Betty probably
I will also not be here.
I know exactly where he's gone.
Maybe they're going together.
They're off on their own thing right now. But we'll be back next week with the others. Thank you guys for being here. Check everybody out. Head over to Twitch. No, follow us here at twitch.tv/podbynight. Head over to youtube.com/podbynight and check out patreon.com/podbynight, where all of our after shows get uploaded, which we will be doing soon. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. We love you.
All right. Bye, gang.